Hey guys, this is Spartacus here, and we recently got ourselves the roadmap for Season 5 for Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, and I was going to make a video talking about the new CX-9 submachine gun, which recently came out for Modern Warfare's multiplayer, and of course you can use it in Warzone. However, I really want to cover this stuff because there is a lot of content coming this season, and I'm pretty happy about that. I really like to see the seasons starting to get a little bit better as time has been going on, and of course this season is really important considering this is when we're going to get ourselves the reveal for the next Call of Duty game. So let's go ahead and break down this roadmap and go over each thing that's going to be added to Season 5. Starting with Cold War's multiplayer, we are getting a new party game mode called Double Agent, where it's an investigative multiplayer party experience where each match assigns double agents who are there to sabotage the mission, communicate, investigate, and expose the traitors or successfully wipe out the investigating team to win. It starts up with 10 players in a lobby, and each player is assigned of one of three roles. There are double agents who must either eliminate everyone else or successfully set off explosive charges around the map. Then there's the investigator who can use clues to target suspected double agents as wanted criminals, and then there's operatives who must work together to identify and eliminate the double agents before it's too late. And Treyarch did say this is one of those party game modes that requires a lot of communication with everybody in the game. And another thing that I notice is that everyone starts off with a pistol, and you actually can pick up weapons throughout the map by just exploring. And of course, each role actually has access to different types of other things. So for example, double agents gain access to gas mines, counter spy planes, combat bows, and attack helicopters. And then of course they also have protection from the radiation spreading from the bombs that they've planted. And then there's the investigators who have trophy systems, stim shots, and hand cannons, and they can also see footprints of an attacker when examining a player's death location. And another interesting thing about being an investigator is they can issue a wanted order on a player that they find to be suspicious. So you can pretty much tell your teammates, or the other type of operatives, that you find someone to be suspicious and you guys can work together to take them out. Also, Demolition is returning to Cold War. It's going to be coming out later in the season, not at the very start. If you guys haven't played Demolition, how it works is that there's an attacker and a defending team, and you eventually switch sides at the end of a round, and there's two different bombs you have to be planted. It's kind of like Search and Destroy, except there's unlimited respawns, and it can be very easy to get nukes playing this game mode, as this was a huge strategy back in older Call of Duty games because these matches can last a pretty long time, and so a lot of people would usually play this game mode so they can go for nukes. And now that Black Ops Cold War has a nuke in its multiplayer, I guarantee you're going to see a lot of gameplay on YouTube of people getting nukes by playing this. When it comes to brand new multiplayer maps, we are getting Echelon, which is a 6v6 map. It's brand new, original, something we haven't experienced yet, which is always great to see. However, there are 3 remade maps coming to this game. 2 of them, however, I have never played before. So the first one is Slums, another 6v6 map, which of course was also in Black Ops 4, originally in Black Ops 2. And then the other 2 6v6 maps are Drive-In and Zoo. These 2 maps were DLC maps back in the original Black Ops, and I have never played the DLC multiplayer maps back in Black Ops. I've played pretty much all the DLC zombie maps back then, but the multiplayer maps was something that I never got to experience because I didn't actually play Black Ops during its prime. And I think it is kind of cool that they are bringing more DLC maps back to these current Call of Duty games, I should say. However, it is still lazy to us in our opinions because it's like, well, they're not really new, and now that they've been giving us a bunch of remade maps from older titles that originally came with the game, now they're starting to remake DLC maps from older Call of Duty games. But these 2 I've never experienced before. I haven't heard any complaints about these maps, and these 2 6v6 maps, Drive-In and Zoo, they will be coming out later in this season. And then we are getting a 2v2 and 3v3 map called Showroom, which is actually supposed to be a map related to the Pines. However, this 2v2 and 3v3 map, it is not an area of the Pines that we're familiar with. Apparently, it's supposed to be another part of that mall that we were not able to explore on the original map. So either way, it's pretty much a new map overall, just basically the same mall theme as the Pines. And of course, we are getting ourselves a new score streak called the Flamethrower, which was actually leaked a long time ago. Before the game even came out, we had a leak of all the score streaks in the game, including the harp and the hand cannon, and of course the Flamethrower. And there was actually some art back in season 1 when Raid was coming to the game, and it shows someone using a flamethrower in that art. And now we're finally getting to use the Flamethrower in multiplayer, and of course it's going to be used as a support streak in the zombies mode, which of course is what we're going to be talking about next. The first thing we're getting in zombies is a new outbreak region called Collateral. This of course is a combined arms map in the multiplayer, which is very interesting because this is the first combined arms map that we have in Outbreak, considering all the other regions we go to are fire team maps, and Collateral is a pretty big map. I was very surprised to see it as a combined arms map just because of how big it was, and it's not a fire team map. Very interesting, but we're getting it here in Outbreak for Black Ops Cold War Zombies, and we're getting the tank in Outbreak as well, which is amazing because I think it'll be so much fun just shooting zombies from a distance and just blowing them up. I don't know. I think a tank will be really fun. I don't know how much damage this thing is going to be able to handle if a horde of zombies is attacking you. And of course, in the image, we see a tank looking at an Orda, so I'm very curious if this is effective for taking out Ordas and other types of special zombies. Also, there is a new equipment coming to Outbreak only, it seems like, called the Grapple Gun. I think this will be very fun to use, and I'm not very sure if this is going to have like unlimited uses, or if we look at Blackout where we only had like a certain amount of uses in that game mode. But yeah, we're getting a Grapple Gun in Outbreak. Really cool. Don't know if this is something you can just buy at the crafting bench and with using your salvage, or it's like a kind of an Easter egg quest where you have to build one. Either way, we're getting a Grapple Gun. I think it'll be pretty fun to use, and I'm sure people are just going to do some like crazy trick shot stuff with it and just kill zombies with it. I think it'll be really fun. And another thing is we're getting a new perk, which of course is always a good thing. However, this perk we're getting is not that great in my opinion. We'll have to see what the upgrades are, but it's called Death Perception. This is something that we got back in Black Ops 4, and nobody really used it because it just wasn't really good. Like, what was the point of using it? Basically, what Death Perception does is it outlines zombies that you can see on screen. So if zombies are spawning behind a barrier, you're able to look through the wall and actually see the outline of that zombie. And so I never really found it to be really that useful. We'll have to see what the upgrades do, and we'll just have to wait till it comes out. And of course, I will cover it here on my channel, what Death Perception does and if it's any use when playing Black Ops Cold War. The good thing about Black Ops Cold War, though, is that we basically have an unlimited amount of perks we can acquire when playing in a match, so that's really cool. But we're also getting a new field upgrade called Tesla Storm, which of course can electrocute zombies, and when you upgrade it, it can electrocute special zombies, and it probably does other things as well. And one thing Treyarch said in their post of the patch notes, that this can also help make you and your team move faster. And based on the image that we see, it looks like that when you activate it and your teammates are nearby, basically this Tesla electricity energy goes ahead and shocks the players around you, and I think that's how you actually move a lot faster. So that might actually be pretty useful when playing Outbreak and trying to do boss fights and stuff like that. And of course, there's going to be a new Outbreak objective called Transport. I feel like we have so many different kind of transport types of, I guess, objectives in Outbreak already. Maybe not a lot, but we already kind of have like a transport objective. So I wonder what this one is. It probably requires you to drive a vehicle instead of actually being near a rover that moves by itself. One thing it doesn't show on the roadmap that I'd like to mention here, and I would love to make a video on it because I'm genuinely curious what this is all about, but apparently there is a new map coming to Dead Ops Arcade 3 called Ikiri Exit. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll probably have text on screen or something to show you how it's actually spelled, but apparently there's a bonus map in Dead Ops Arcade 3 called Ikiri Exit. I honestly, guys, I have no idea how to say it, but either way, it's a bonus map. So I don't know if this is actually part of the normal Dead Ops Arcade experience or if it's going to be something separate and in its own entirely. I'm really curious what it is, and I would love to try it out. I love Dead Ops Arcade 3, you guys. I think they did a fantastic job with it, and I don't think it gets enough credit that it deserves. And I think it's awesome how they keep updating the game to make Dead Ops Arcade 3 a better experience. Moving on to Warzone, it looks like there's going to be a new map update to Verdansk 84 where it has mobile broadcast stations. I honestly have no idea what this is actually going to do. And there's also going to be a new game mode called Clash, which apparently is going to be coming out later in the season, and a new gulag, which is based on the map Rush, which I think is awesome. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, but I think it will be really cool if they made the Rush map into a gunfight map, or at least make a gunfight map that's based off the theme that we see with Rush, because it's like a paintball arena. I think it would be perfect as a gunfight map, but we don't really have that. So the gulag is the second best thing I guess we have for it. So either way, pretty interesting nonetheless. But here is the biggest update coming to Warzone. I don't know how long Warzone's been out. It's been over a year since Warzone has been out, and we're finally getting new perks to use in the game mode, which is crazy. I know, right, guys? And the first one being Combat Scout, and the second one being Tempered. The Combat Scout perk allows it to where when you're shooting at an enemy and the enemy takes damage, they will briefly have an highlighted orange around their character, meaning that you can actually see them through walls for a brief amount of time, and at the same time they will automatically be pinged. And I love this. I honestly love trying to shoot someone, and if they get away, I'm not able to actually ping them in time, and I'm trying to give call outs to my friends saying where the enemy is at. And I think this will make it so much easier when playing with randoms, because there's a lot of randoms out there who don't have mics plugged in, and if they are actually paying attention and the enemy actually gets automatically pinged because I'm shooting at them, then my teammates will have a great understanding of where they're at. Or even if I have my mic turned on and I'm trying to give call outs and they don't reply back because they don't have their mic plugged in, then it will make it easier for me to understand that they know where the enemy is, because really they have no excuse if it's automatically being pinged when I damage them. So anyway, Combat Scout is a perk I can definitely see myself using. The only thing they didn't say is which perk slot this is going to be in, and so depending on what perk slot this is in, I can definitely see myself using it. The other perk, Tempered, which is actually in the perk 2 slot, so you are at risk at not having Overkill or Ghost on for using this, but Tempered allows it to where instead of having 3 armor plate slots, you only have 2, and each plate that you put in is actually 75 points of damage that it can deal with. And so normally, if you guys don't know this, right now in Warzone, each armor plate actually can deal 50 points of damage, where with this perk, each plate does 75 points of damage, but you only have 2 slots. So from my understanding, from like a statistical standpoint, you're still having the same health as if you had 3 armor plates in, but it's just a lot quicker to actually fully plate up since there's only 2 slots, and it'll be a lot easier to get into the fight, which this is something I can definitely see using, but you're definitely at risk since it's in the perks 2 slot of not having Ghost or Overkill. So I'm really curious how this is going to turn out. I can definitely see people using this at first, and so when I play Warzone, when the new update comes out, I'm just going to buy a bunch of UAVs, because you know nobody's going to be using Ghost because of this new perk added to the game. So I'm really curious how it's going to turn out. Another thing that I'm confused on is that in the patch notes it says armor plates are heavier and more reinforced. So does that mean when you put these plates on that you're going to be able to move slower? Like, I don't really understand what that means. And they say it's more reinforced, so does that mean that they don't take as much damage per shot as they usually do? I'm a little confused. So I'm a little confused how this Tempered perk's going to work if it does actually slow you down. I feel like if it slows you down, then that's definitely an incentive for me to not use it, but in any case, it does seem like a very interesting perk to add to the game, and I can definitely see it changing up the meta a little bit in the future. And that is literally everything for Warzone. Of course, we're getting ourselves new weapons, operators, and battle passes. The new weapons coming to the game are the EM2 assault rifle and the Tech 9 SMG. From what we've seen in previous clips and trailers, that the Tech 9 looks to be as if it can be dual wield, which would be amazing. I love using dual wield SMGs, and I'm hoping that one day we'll get dual wield shotguns at some point, because those were so much fun to use back in the older Call of Duty games. And then later in the season, we are going to be getting the Marshall, which is basically a pistol, but it uses shotgun ammo, so it kind of reminds me of the Executioner in a way, but it looks like maybe this has a lot more range than the Executioner. Very interesting. And then of course the cane melee weapon. So if you're an old whippersnapper and you're like 80 years old, then yeah, using the cane will be amazing to actually go up against enemies and just whack them with it. And yeah, also we're gonna get new bundles, and of course the mid-season event called the Numbers, which of course I think we all know that this is going to give us the reveal trailer for the next Call of Duty game, and I cannot wait for that event to happen. I am very curious what the next Call of Duty game is going to be, even though I don't have really any hype for it just because they're doing a really crappy job at marketing it right now, but still, I am very stoked to see what this next game is going to be, and of course, all the content coming on August 12th for Season 5 of Cold War and Warzone. Anyway, that is everything, you guys. Hopefully you found it informative and helpful. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more Call of Duty videos every single day, and I shall catch you guys later.